Don, good job. Sounds like
Thanks.
you're losing your voice.
Yeah, I'm definitely
cheered
losing
a little
my
too
voice,
hard
so.
for the blue.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but go blue.
There you
I'll
go.
cheer
It
for
worked
him
out
again.
for him. It worked out for him this week. Hey, so we got a couple questions. The first one is, love what you said about volunteering, getting involved, becoming part of the family. What do you do, or what do you tell someone who has taken that step before and just been burned out? You know, the old statistic says that like 20% of the people sometimes do about 80% of the work in a lot of churches. We have to turn that on its head here at Journey, but I don't know if we're there yet or not. But sometimes people do jump in, and then because they're willing to jump in and say yes, sometimes they have a hard time saying no, and they end up suffering from burnout and then maybe never jumping in again. So what advice would you give to someone in that position?
Again, I'd really encourage people that have trouble saying no, because it happens to those, and then it also happens just if you're serving in church a lot, that you've got to learn to know yourself. When you get to that point, a breaking point, we have to, again, it talks about looking at ourselves with sober judgment. We have to know our breaking point. And every athlete has a breaking point. I'll use the athlete thing again too. You have a breaking point. You have a max. You have a level that you can go to. We're all different. You and I are going to lift different weights. We're going to be able to do different lifts differently. We have different. So it's the same way in church. We all have different abilities, and we have to know that about ourselves. And then we have to be honest with it. If we're at that point of burnout, then we have to get the healing that we need. And that's where most people fail, is if they have been burned out or they're getting burned out, they don't take the necessary steps to heal.
That's good.
And that's I've got a lot of buddies that have been in ministry. I'm sure you do too. They aren't in ministry anymore. They got out because it's painful in the ministry at times. I get it. But I've been there too. But what I did to help in those moments in my own life is I sought help. I even talked to a Christian psychologist in order to help deal with some of the there's some major divides on what I thought should have happened and what did happen. And he helped me work through some of those things just to help me realize how devastating they were to my internal soul. And so that happened. So I'd say whether it's burnout because you've said yes too many times or whether it's burnout because you've been burned out too many times, because it can happen both ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get help. You've got to get help. You got to and just be honest with yourself. Don't lie to yourself, because the longer you lie to yourself, the more hurt you're going to get.
Yeah. And one more question is, you talked about everyone has a gift and everyone has a fit, and you take the steps to do that. What if you've never taken a step or anything toward finding that gift or finding that fit? What advice would you give those folks?
Well, I love what we do at Journey, and I think it's a great idea. Just take that first step. Get involved. Find one that you think you might like. And what we do at Journey is if it doesn't fit, then we encourage you to go find another one. We don't make it a long-term commitment when you sign up. And I think we do that intentionally so that people have that ability to get on board. And I think that's a great way to do that. So because it can be intimidating. I don't know anybody in the church. I really know my gifts. There's some gift tests that are out there that we have available. We have resources if that's you. Again, find one of us. We can help point you in a direction. We can even talk to you and even encourage you and tell you where we think you might fit better. So it's just taking that first initial talk, just start talking about it and find out where you're at. So
and I don't want you to hear that we want something from you. The whole thing behind this series last week and this week is because we know that God has something more for you. So but again, it takes personal engagement and you taking that step. So thanks for staying with us. If you have more questions, feel free to text them to us or shoot them to the email. We love answering them. Hopefully see you next week.
Thanks.